15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake of fact, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto, Ron, Elvis, and the lay poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here now, your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. Really excited about tonight's episode. We are inching closer to the season. The games are going to start mattering tomorrow. They'll start keeping score and keeping count enough with the preseason. And I just couldn't be more excited. I mean, you know, we talked about it last week. I had a blast. I know DT did as well with the Fan Appreciation episode and got a chance to sit down with some of our original listeners and kind of chop it up with them. And it's just been, it's just so exciting. I think that Justice General said it perfectly. Just life goes by better when the football season is in full swing. I think he said Mondays don't suck as much. I mean, all of those types of things are definitely true. So excited. The Bills will get right to it, man, on the 11th. Monday Night Football, prime time against the Jets. I mean, I can't wait for it. Joining me tonight, as always, my co-host, Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. Holler at him on Instagram at Adam Rupsick, RUPCZYK. Holla at the crew, DT. I mean, we are inching closer, my man. I mean, this is it, man. Monday will be here before you know it, man. And obviously, we get to enjoy Sunday's slate as well.
Let's go. We're in it now. We're in it now. We've gone through it. We got through the wait. We've talked about the wait, how we were getting excited at the beginning of training camp and still had the whole summer to go. Well, the week's upon us. Within 7 days, Rob. Happy to be here as always. What up, crew? What up, Rob? Let's chop this up, man. I'm pumped for this season, for this Jets. Like, it brings something out in me. Like you said, life's just better. And, you know, everyone that says, oh, don't make your identity about a football team or let up.
Kiss my ass.
Man.
Yeah, kiss my ass.
That's who we are as the Mafia, and don't get that twisted right now. So, ready to chop it up, ready for this season to start, ready for 17 to start dealing again. Let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
I'm down with it. Yeah, no, you know, the most important thing that I do is be a father, a provider, and make sure that I take care of my kings after them. I mean, I don't care, man. I mean, the Bills are part of my identity. They are part of the fabric. If you didn't get a chance, please go back and listen to last week's episode. Some great stories from our listeners, the original members of the crew, and just how they became rabid Bills fans. And it was really cool to chop it up with them because, I mean, it is part of the fabric. I mean, in Western New York, whether you've moved like I have and Big Mike have, and we're down here in Charlotte now, whether you're across the country, across the world, it just means something. And it means something different, man. It's just, there's something about the Mafia that is truly special. And I know that we are excited for 5 days away. I mean, these episodes air on Thursday, so we'll be down to 4 days. Like, it's crazy, man. So I can't wait to get to it. As we get ready to chop it up tonight, DT, a little bit of, you know, house cleaning. Sean McDermott announces today on Wednesday, and we release on Thursdays, but on Wednesday he announces 3 starters on the for the Bills. And it's interesting because, DT, you know, it was funny because the middle linebacker position was something that we watched and that we kept an eye on, and then all of a sudden the competition didn't seem like much of a competition anymore when Terrell Bernard went down with that hamstring injury. He comes back last week to practice, DT, and all of a sudden you look around, and today Sean McDermott announces that he's going to be the starting middle linebacker come week 1 against the Jets. It's interesting because I don't know if it's an indictment on Dotson, if it's an indictment on or just speaks to the work ethic of Terrell Bernard. But, I mean, Dotson had more than 1 or 2 bites at this apple. He couldn't get it done. I do respect the fact that it's next man up. It's, you know, the best guy's going to play. And I do respect that about Sean McDermott.
Dotson's been here well before Terrell Bernard even got drafted, so
Yeah.
he's had his licks. I mean, granted, 49 was there plugging it up. He wasn't going to get a chance in that regard, but you made the special teams work and made it happen. This was a chance to really earn it, and you like to see it. You'd like to have Dotson still going to get snaps and going to be a pivotal player in that middle, but you like to see Bernard getting this start, being a draft. Being coming in, filling that void with Trayman Edmonds, kind of easing that gap of, oh man, we're losing Trayman. What are we going to do? And, Bernard coming in. But it shows that he might have been the favorite the whole time,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. I think so.
It looked like a 3-man race. And then at the very end, he gets hurt and then he comes back and boom, he's the starter. So he might have been the play the whole time and good for him. I hope we see good things from 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, good luck to him because, like I said, Dotson had his opportunities, and I know that he was never going to, take over Tremaine Edmonds or anything like that. But, he's had his opportunities with the team, and this year was kind of his offseason to kind of prove it. And, he was given that shot, especially with the injury to Bernard. It all opened up for him. He was just not really in the right places, it seemed like, during those preseason games, filling the wrong gaps, not reading his keys. And, it seems like, McDermott wants somebody that he can trust back there to call the defense, and it's going to be Terrell Bernard. He's going to get that opportunity. Now, one of the success stories, and you can look at this, a couple different ways, DT, because I know that it's been really interesting with the cornerback 2 position opposite of Tre'Davious White. Listen, I mean, the best guy's going to play, and I have to respect that when a coaching staff is not going to worry about draft status. They're not going to worry about who is supposed to be or what they, what everybody assumes going to be based on the draft status. And I know that Kyrie Elam is obviously disappointed, but today Sean McDermott announces that Christian Benford's going to start opposite of Trey White, and he earned it, man. I mean, we always call him little, Levi Wallace, light Levi Wallace Jr. Like, he is always in the right spot. I think that's why the coaching staff trusts him so much, because they know that he's going to be right where he's supposed to be. He's not, overly athletic. He's not going to wow you with, 4.3 speed or anything like that, but he does his job coming out of a small school in Villanova where he already played zone. He already played a defense very similar to what Sean McDermott is asking his boundary cornerbacks to do out there. And I'm impressed by the fact that 2 years in a row now, he has gone and snatched that thing. I mean, even Dane Jackson, a wonderful corner that's always in the right spot. He went and got this thing, man. Benford, you can't say that he didn't earn it, because 2 years in a row now, he went up against a first rounder. And again, Dane Jackson, a household favorite back there with the defense, and he took the job.
Comfortable with the zone defense, opposite of the first round pick last year with Kyrie Elam, who only played man, right? So, that's been an issue from the start of he just can't get it. He's just not ready. And, we talked about how Bean kind of talks weird about him and everything in regard. And Benford back again. I mean, Dane Jackson, I'll go to bat for Dane Jackson. I do grind with him. I like what he brings to us, but the dude gets cooked sometimes, right? But he brings the energy, he brings the fire, he does make great plays. In this league, you're going to get cooked unless you're, a top tier guy. And especially when you're not when you're going off the Trey White thing, people are throwing to you all game long.
Right, picking on you.
So it's going to be something that Benford is up to the task. They were talking about, he's too big. He won't even play corner. We're going to put him at safety. And now he's earning that cornerback 2 slot 2 years in a row as a starter. So again, with the middle, I think we'll see Dotson and Bernard. In the corner, I think we're going to see Dane Jackson and Kyrie Elam as well. But let's go 47, the engine that could.
I mean, he really has been the little engine that could. I mean, and just a success story. I mean, it just shows you that, football is a meritocracy, and that's really the best way to do it. That's what the men respect in the locker room. That's what they see. They always talk about how they see, all the players see who you pay when, Brandon being the hands off the money. Same thing goes for the jobs that are given out. We don't want to see somebody just get a job just because of draft status. You got to earn it in training camp. You've got to earn it in practice habits. You've got to earn it in the film room. And it just seems like, Christian Benford has been somebody that they can rely on, DT, somebody that they feel comfortable with. And they're going to, put him out there week 1 against, some of the best receivers in the league. And he's going to see, like you said, he's going to see more action because of the fact that a lot of times guys are afraid to go at Trey White. So it'll be interesting to see, because he's going to get a baptism very early.
Oh yeah, that rotating door, man. I mean, even as we look into this week a little bit, probably won't see Garrett Wilson much, but you're going to see maybe Cobb, Allen Lazard, all
Right.
these cats
Right.
that Aaron Rodgers is very comfortable with, very comfortable getting the ball to. So yeah, it's put up or shut up, but we're gonna see a lot of action from all three of those guys. I would think, Rob.
Yeah. Now, when we did our offensive preview for the last starter, Justice General said that he would be shocked if this young man did not win the starting job. He said it would be an indictment if he didn't. And he, I guess he must be prophetic because Osiris Torrence is the starting right guard for your Buffalo Bills coming up this season. As we start on Monday night against the Jets. And listen, the kid came in. I think McDermott said today that he had a workman-like attitude. I know that they like that lunch pail type attitude where a guy just puts his head down, does what he's asked to do, and really doesn't have much to say. And really, it's interesting because this guy had an impeccable career at Florida. No sacks given up, I think, last year or anything like that. Very few pressures. He's one of those kind of guys that is just consistent, and I think that's what you need, especially with Ryan Bates able to play multiple positions. This was the guy that, as long as he didn't throw up on himself, as long as it didn't look like the moment was too big for him, this was going to be the choice for the Bills at the right guard position. And I'm excited because he's a big guy. He moves his feet well. He's nasty. We talked about that during the offensive preview as well, DT. And, he earned it. Bates has his versatility might have hurt him a little bit, but the fact that Torrence came in as a rookie, picked up the offense, picked up the protections, it's got to speak and put a feather in his cap that he was able to pick this up throughout the training camp and the mini camp and different things like that. He's your right guard, starting right guard for the Buffalo Bills.
This is my favorite one out of the three by far, Rob.
Cybo.
We got to talk. Yeah, Cybo. Let's go. We talk. Protect 17, protect
Right.
17, protect 17. It's got to be the number one priority. Got to be the number one priority.
We talked about it.
We maybe throw a weapon, but protecting him has got to be it. And to have a rookie with promise like this and come in and earn the job on basically never plays rookies, Rob, right? I mean, you got to earn that shit with McDermott and Bean. Actually earn it, So coming in and taking through, giving the rookie bid to protect the biggest merchandise of your life, that says a lot, And this is offensive line has got to put up this year. I really am not going to have patience for him not blocking, Rob. They need to protect, and if they can build from the middle there. Mitch Morse is a dominant force. Govern hopefully is solid on the other side, and this cat can come in and Cybo and start really changing that pace of protecting Josh to being kind of a mean offensive line and getting upset if anybody's even whiffing 17, if anybody's even touching 17. And what a better test coming up this week, Rob.
Oh my gosh.
Williams.
Oh my gosh.
Cue ball, as they
Cue
say
ball,
in the Hard Knocks. God damn, I don't. That was always,
He's a problem.
being part of the line and some parts and having to block. That was the worst. Having that hard defensive end, or you go down the center and playing that big nose guard. You never want to prepare for that dude because he can literally ruin your day. And that's what he's going to get first. But that's what I kind of like. I think he's got that swagger and pipe about him where he's going to have that tenacity and mean to him. And hopefully that carries out to the outside of that line too. With because Spencer Brown and Dion, I think they got that in them. It just got to be pulled out. But that's where I'm going to have my least patience this year. Is the most exciting starter I think announced. He earned it, and let's go protect the merchandise, Rob. Protect the merchandise.
You have been talking about it literally all offseason, DT. You've been talking about protecting Josh Allen, and I know that that's really important to you, and it should be important to the Mafia as well because, he is, the most important asset. He is the future of the Buffalo Bills, and we want him upright as long as possible. I think that's one of the reasons and the initiatives that they've got, talking about how they don't want him taking as many hits, and they brought in Damian Harris, and they're going to have, maybe not run the ball more, but they want to run it more effectively. I think all of those different types of things lead to Josh Allen trying to take a little bit more off of his plate. One of the best ways to take some stuff off of his plate is just to simply give him more time back there to operate, give him more time to go through his progressions. And then obviously when you get down in goal line situations, being able to push people around, to be honest. I mean, I'm teaching football right now, for Bobby, that, DT, and listen, I work with the offensive defensive line, and it's, it starts with you guys up front. I'm always reminding them that the game really can get out of whack if you guys are not on your game, because it starts with the O-line, it starts with the D-line, it starts in the trenches. I know it sounds cliche, DT, but it is so true in football.
How facts. I mean, and somebody, when you got an offense with Josh Allen running it, You don't even have to put a full game together on the O-line, Rob. You just have to initiate that. If they want to bring pressure early and you can contain that pressure, Josh Allen's going to crush you when you bring extra guys.
Yeah.
When you bring extra guys, you're getting crushed. And if he can be protected when they bring pressure, is sooner than later, that defense is going to start backing off, and it's going to get a lot easier day for the offensive line. So you don't even have to put a full game together. You just have to be, set the tone.
Yeah, set the tone, set the table. Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see. I cannot wait for Monday night. And I know that everybody is also on pins and needles, because it's going to be interesting as we go and start to transition, DT, to the opponent. I mean, this is so interesting. Hard Knocks, you mentioned it. It's funny because I've watched all of them. I've got to watch the last episode tonight that they had on last night. And listen, I've enjoyed the series because, I know that it's a production. I've already talked about that. I know that it's something that they're supposed to look good, and I know that everything doesn't come out and all the dirty stuff always doesn't come out. But boy, they look ready. The team looks ready. It'll be interesting to see because Rodgers and Gotham City, I mean, they are eating it up like ice cream right now. They are loving it. But boy, will that city turn on your ass in a minute if you don't get those wins together. And the Jets have been waiting so long for a quarterback to lead them that, it's all good. It's all roses right now. It's all fun and games right now. But boy, if those losses start to pile up, starting with the Bills on September 11th, I mean, things can turn in a big way. And I'm looking hopefully for the Bills to start that whole narrative and kind of bring these guys down a little bit a peg, because everybody's crowning these guys. Everybody's saying that they're going to be AFC East champs. Some people even think that they could go to the Super Bowl and represent the conference. I don't believe in any of that type of stuff right now. I think that there's a progression that needs to be made. But that defense is fierce, and Q Ball leading that defense is fierce. All they needed last year, DT, was a quarterback, and it seems like they've got one, obviously, with the future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's a huge addition for sure.
Yeah.
But I looking through this schedule, Rob, I wouldn't have picked another game to open up with. There's obviously games I'm going to be looking forward to this year, and crazy matchups. Obviously, Chiefs, Bengals, name it. Right. There's going to be a ton of good matchups. But to open the season with this talk, with this division rivalry, with last year the Jets getting the better of the Bills, and barely even beating them at home when they came back. It's a story, and you bring Aaron Rodgers in. The Hard Knocks is all over it. Mm-hmm. But this team didn't make the playoffs last year, Rob, and yes,
they're crowning them. They're crowning them, DT. I mean, they are crowning these boys. A quarterback
means a ton. A quarterback means a ton with the roster they have, for sure. But they didn't make the playoffs. So like you said, going from the playoffs, getting a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers who probably doesn't give too much of a shit. I mean, he's there fighting and playing, like he's doing what he can do, but he's not going through training camp as hard as he did when he was younger. He's not going through training camp as hard as Josh Allen did this year. He's not, so I'm looking forward to the hype of that 9/11 in New York. There's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of Rodgers, a lot of, the Jets, just because they have the good roster, are ready to go. But man, it's buckle up time, dude, because these I think 17 and the boys are going to be business trip-esque, and they know they've been hearing all this, and not even the fact that they're going to lose the division to them or anything like that, but the fact that they're just going to be this juggernaut team because they have some 40-year-old give a shit less quarterback is hard to really. They had the same roster last year. They had Sauce Gardner, they had Garrett Wilson, they had Quinnen Williams. Yeah, they got Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall back, but in today's NFL, I'm not afraid of a single running back. So bring in the 40-year-old quarterback that you want to talk about and you want to contend for the Super Bowl with. Well, we'll see what this X13-3 team coming into your house on a warpath has to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because, when you talk about a business-like trip, I think that the Bills are about business. And I really hope that it's a situation where they're ready to go right off the bat because, it's kind of put up or shut up like they talked about last week. Big Ben Fennell said it last week on Family Appreciation Week, DT, like it's time, kind of time to put up or shut up. And I know that they had a couple conversations on WGR today about what else is there left to do. And they were talking about it at the end of the day on Tuesday. And I was just listening to the conversation, just shaking my head. Like, they were asking, is it fair for Super Bowl or bust? And like this and that. I'm just like, how many more, what other rungs do you want to go to? I'm not even asking for the Super Bowl. Again, you guys all know what I want. Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia. I just want to wake up on Sunday and know that my team's getting ready to play. I want to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. That's it. That's all I want. And then I'll let the chips fall from there. So because of that, like, I am just so supremely focused on this season. And again, I promised, I made that oath to enjoy it. And it starts off week one because divisional matchup, an opponent that you know really well, and one that, you know, quite honestly, DT, the defense plays well against Josh Allen. They played well against him last year. They hurt his elbow a little bit, obviously, in that game. And obviously he made that crazy throw to Gabe Davis at the end of the game. But they play him tough. They play him hard. So there's something about, Salah, and there's something about the defense and their scheme that they get Josh rattled a little bit. And I know that offensive line is very important. So I'm going to be looking for them to all be business-like. I'm going to be looking for everybody to be on their game on Monday, because I don't think that this is something that you want to, obviously the rest of the season is still in front of you. You'd still have 16 games left if you lose it, but I'd love that feeling of 1-0 as opposed to losing on the road against a divisional opponent. Like, all that type of stuff is not the way that I want to start the season out with that sour taste in my mouth, for sure.
And this is going to sound cliche, but it carries a lot of weight. In the NFL, every game matters, right, Rob? But the fact, like, this could be a big statement from the Bills. Yeah. Like, okay, all this talk, everything with the Jets, the division, and you go in there and beat this Jets team by, 10, 14. Yeah,
right.
Like, oh, damn. Okay, everyone get back. It is what last year with the defending Super Bowl champs. Granted, the Rams had a tough year and battled some injuries, didn't make the playoffs, but
we didn't know that week one though. I mean, week one we didn't know that.
They're the defending Super Bowl champs, and they went in there and took care of them, and then that hype train started, and that business train started, and it's like, okay, the Bills are for real. I'm not asking for people to say the Bills are for real. I'm just saying the statement this could hold to the confidence in this room of, big bad Aaron Rodgers and the big bad Jets, and we go in there and beat them by double digits. No, we are as good as we think we are, so let's start rolling.
Yeah.
I think it matters more to the statement to the room rather than the statement to the public.
Yeah, no, I think that should be a good way for them to look at it, because I don't think that they're really, worried about outside pressure anymore. I think that they've been through it now a few times. I think that, they kind of understand the routine and understand what it's like to be hunted. And I think that that's the one thing about these Buffalo Bills is now we're going on year 4 of them being a prolific offense. We're going on year 4 of them being, a great defense. I mean, they've been a great defense under McDermott and Frazier the entire time. Now McDermott's putting more pressure on himself by taking over the play calling duties with Leslie Frazier out. So, I mean, I just feel like we've talked about it already in the Pressure Bust Pipes episode, DT. I mean, the pressure is on, and I think that you can name it in every single room. The quarterback room has some things to prove. The running back room with James Cook, and now that Motor is out of town, like, he's got to prove it. He's got to step up. Damian Harris has got to show that he can stay healthy because he's got Murray behind him pushing him as well. So I think that every room has got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. The tight end room, I've got Dalton Kincaid in, and then Knox wants to still prove that he's still Josh's guy as well. So they have to find a way to coexist. And then, on the defensive side of the ball, there's something to prove. We already talked about the tackles on the offensive line. They've got definitely something to prove for sure. Spencer Brown, and to a lesser degree, Deion Dawkins, who didn't have his best year last year. So I think that the pressure is equally sprinkled across this locker room, and they definitely should be worrying about everything internal. Don't worry about outside noise. Don't worry about the hype train. Don't worry about what the pundits are predicting or anything like that. They know what it's like to be hunted, DT. They know what it's like for everybody to give them their best shot, so to speak. And I think that as long as they've got that mindset, starting right off the bat, September 11th, Monday Night Football, as long as they know that everybody's gunning for them and they don't get it twisted in that respect, I think that we're going to be in good shape.
How eerily similar are these rosters too, Rob? You look at through top to bottom. Let's not talk about quarterback now, but offensive lines, both kind of their weakest link, if you will, unanimously. The receiving core has a stud and a pretty good, second, third fiddle to it. Right. Defensive lines are probably one of your stronger points of the team. Right. And then, you're in your defensive backfield, you got some all pros. So it's gonna be a battle roster to roster. It might come down to, 8 versus 17, and if it's that, I like us, but it's the rosters are similar. It's going to be a good game. The NFL knows what they're doing, Rob. They're not the biggest entertainment business for nothing. They know exactly what they're doing, putting these boys on September 11th ready to roll Monday night when all eyes are on these guys. So
I can't wait.
I'm
DT.
so pumped up, man.
I can't wait. As we take a look around the league, it's going to be interesting because some crazy news came out, yesterday, and then today was confirmed that it looks like Travis Kelce, his knee is intact. He didn't, actually break any ligaments or anything like that, but hyperextension. He's probably not going to be able to play, tomorrow night for the champs as they open up against the Detroit Lions. But that should be an interesting matchup. What are your thoughts on that? Because Patrick Mahomes, he's got that horseshoe, just lodged right up there, right up his rear end. And listen, it's a situation where it seems like you could take away anything from him, and then he still performs. They take away Tyreek Hill, and he still performs. And it was crazy last year because I thought that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, and it wasn't. I mean, they just went on and marched about their business. Now they've got the Chris Jones drama, and he's coming out today saying, "Hey, listen, man, I can play Thursday if they would just give me a raise. All I want is a raise. All I want is a raise." And it's crazy how they still haven't gotten that done. But boy, it's interesting because I will be very interested to see if Mahomes doesn't have Chris Jones on defense and that he doesn't have his main man, Travis Kelce, on offense, if they can pull another rabbit out of the hat, because that'll be an interesting matchup. I'm going to be locked in. I know everybody's going to be locked in because it's the kickoff, but boy, yeah, I'll be watching that to watch Mahomes to see how he deals with that, because that's his guy. I mean, Kelce, as much as Tyreek the Cheetah was his guy, I mean, Kelce is that, times 10, times 20.
10 times over. 10 times over, exactly.
Yeah, he's his guy. Wow, that's his guy.
Yeah. I mean, you said it though. The horseshoe is up there.
It's lodged, man.
Yeah, I mean, we might see something like maybe he doesn't play tomorrow, but I don't think we're definitely seeing him then in week 2. I will never wish injury on anybody, right?
No. Oh no.
But man, we're not lucky enough to see this dude be out for multiple games. Just Mahomes himself though, he pulls it out. Now they've got some other receivers, and I know that they lost Juju, but it's it's Sky Moore, and then it's Valdez Scantling, I think, and it's a couple other guys. Like I don't know who they've all got, or it's just interesting because this receiver core has changed for the Chiefs over the years, and one of the mainstays has been Kelce. So if you remove Kelce from that equation, I'm just wondering what it would look like tomorrow. I'm going to be very interested to see if Detroit can put up either enough points or if their defense can slow them down enough, because it just seems like every time you count out Mahomes, he finds a way. And unless your name's Joe Burrow, he finds a way. Yeah. Unbelievable. But this is that again. Back to my point of the NFL knowing what they're doing. They're not putting the Lions up against the Chiefs on opening night to, that they didn't put the Bills against the Rams last year to be a cupcake game. This is an Alabama versus the Citadel. On the second week. This is they're putting these dudes because they think they're going to give them a show, and the Lions are tough for me to really buy in and believe in them, but they almost knocked the Bills off last year, ruined everyone's Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and,
almost.
They're
almost.
They're on the come up. So without those weapons, without Kelce, without this, without that, maybe it's enough to have that horseshoe lost a little bit. Again, I don't think we're lucky enough where they'll find it. He'll sit on that horseshoe again. That's for damn sure. But if it's a good opportunity for the Chiefs to get a notch off their belt, as we're going to be cheering for them to lose every game this year.
Sure
It'd be nice to get a cheap one week 1.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful, man. That would be beautiful. So we'll see how it works out. Obviously we'll be monitoring the situation. I know I just joined a fantasy league with you, so everybody was mad that the guys that picked up Kelce before the injury and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting because I know that he's such a key player for that offense. It'll just be interesting tomorrow to watch and see how it works. Now, again, NFL kicks off tomorrow, Thursday, September 7th. Again, the day that we release these episodes, 8:20 on NBC. The kickoff of the season. I mean, that to the victor goes the spoils. So you'll see KC, and they'll be at home, and Chiefs Kingdom, and they'll raise the banner, and everything that we want one day here in Buffalo. Everything that we want, we'll get a chance to look at tomorrow in respects to how they do it. I mean, it's one of those culminations where the champs should get that honor. And I was so happy last year when the Bills were picked to play in that game. It is an honor. So hopefully the Lions will come out and give a good show, because I'm so excited for the NFL to be back. Now, Sunday, September 10th, the slate kicks off. And it's wonderful, DT, because those days are the best when your team either plays at nighttime, Sunday Night Football, or they play on Monday night, because you really do get a chance to become a fan. You get a chance to be that couch potato, put on the red zone, and you got 8 different screens going up on the Game Mix channel. So it'll be interesting to see as we kind of go around the league, DT. I'll be watching some games for sure, because there's some matchups and some different things and some storylines that I'm really interested in. And we'll just kind of go down the mark, if you don't mind, before we wrap up tonight. I mean, listen, you've got 1:00 games on Sunday. We've got the Texans going against the Ravens. Now, obviously, the Texans are one of the worst teams in the league, but the Ravens, I'm interested to see what it's all going to look like with Lamar Jackson, and he's got that new offensive coordinator, and and he's got Odell Beckham now, and there's just a lot of different changes around the Ravens, and maybe they might finally commit to throwing the ball and getting away from that Greg Roman where he just wants to pound it all game long. It's going to be interesting to see, regardless of the opponent week 1. I'm interested to see just the Ravens in respects to how Lamar looks with that new offense, DT, because it's been talked about all offseason.
I like it. I like the it's going to be a tough look for Houston going in there, and they have CJ Stroud.
Stroud, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and Will Anderson on defense, yeah. So they
Yeah,
got a rookie, so it's going to be tough sledding for sure.
Yeah. And, Lamar got the bag. He's ready to roll. And
Yeah.
a lot of talk about Zay Flowers coming out of camp. But
Yeah.
and this defense, too, not a lot of talk about this defense. They got playmakers everywhere, Rob, So
all 3 levels.
it's,
Mhm.
yeah. And I said it with our conference breakdown. I would much rather be in the East than the North. There's a lot of teams waiting in the weeds here, a lot of teams that can get things done. And, this Ravens team kind of was it was their off year last year, and Harbaugh doesn't want anything to do with that coming back around. I think it's a 10-point spread for a reason.
Yeah. Like
Double
9.5
digits
right
in
now.
the
It's
NFL.
crazy.
Yeah, double
Yeah.
digits in the NFL is
rare.
pretty rare, pretty chalk. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting, but I'm looking forward to that game. There's a few decent games.
There's a
on the
few games,
slate
man.
here.
Speaking of the AFC
get the
North,
Bengals.
DT.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get
speaking
the
of the
Bengals,
AFC North, the
Browns.
Bengals go on the Browns. The Bengals will go on the road. There's been, so much secrecy around Joe Burrow and the hamstring or whatever it was that he was hurting with, and then nobody wants to let him talk to the media really too much, and everybody's doing the speaking for him. Zach Taylor doesn't want to say anything, and the OC says he looks great and all this other stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how Burrow handles it, because a lot of people are on the Browns. The Browns have some talent, to be honest, some offensive talent for sure, and then obviously they have Myles Garrett on defense. So it'll be interesting to see how they work. Can Deshaun Watson fix himself? Can he get back to the Houston Deshaun Watson, who was one of the best quarterbacks in the league at the time, a few years back before all of his drama? I mean, it'll be interesting. They do have talent. I mean, Amari Cooper, they've got talent on that side of the ball. Donovan Peoples-Jones, it'll be interesting to see how they work out with Cincinnati, because Cincinnati, listen, again, they kind of caught lightning in the bottle at the perfect time a couple of years ago and rode it all the way to the Super Bowl. And, you can't get mad at it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Sometimes you have to get lucky to get to the championship. And they sure enough did, because they didn't really have the best line. Joe Burrow was getting beat up. They were just coming off a 3-win season, and all of a sudden they're in the Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see if they can sustain the success, because obviously they've got some studs on the outside with Chase and Higgins. And, I mean, Burrow, his health is going to be paramount to anything that they want to do.
And I'm also that's a nice game to lock into in this 1:00 slot.
Yeah.
49ers Steelers.
Yeah, that's a big one
I like
too.
that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The 49ers and
Bosa got his bag today. Bosa got the bag,
Yep.
the highest paid defensive
Yep.
player in the league. 5 years, $170 million, 122 guaranteed. Both are records for
Damn.
defensive players. I know, man. That's the bag right there, just over his brother, who had just received a deal last year from the Chargers. So that's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of do-re me, but he's great. I mean, he really is.
Steelers home dogs, coming in and had a wonderful preseason. Let's not look too far into it, but on the come up, playmakers everywhere. TJ Watt, on the come up with this offense and bringing Pickett into it. So Steelers 49ers, that might be, not as much look like AFC wise to the standings, I don't think, as the Ravens and the Bengals game is going to be, but I'm definitely gonna have my eyes on this one, whether it's split screen or the other out in living room junior. We're gonna be seeing the Steelers 49ers. I like this a lot in the 1:00 slot.
Yeah, finish up the 1:00 games. DT, we've got the Bucks going on the road to play the Vikings. The Titans will go on the road to play the Saints. The Panthers on the road to play the Falcons, and then the Jaguars going on the road to play the Colts. one more 1 o'clock game, Arizona and Washington, which nobody cares about either team. All right, 4 o'clock slate before the nightcap. We've got, some good matchups, to be honest with you. The Raiders are going against the Broncos. It'll be interesting to see how Sean Payton, his debut, didn't look too well in the preseason. People like to say, it's funny how you can flip it either way, DT. If you play shitty, you're like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just preseason. If you play great, you're like, hey, man, we look pretty good. You know what I mean? The other day. So that type of thing. So it's funny how football fans will kind of pick and choose which way they want to go with it. Raiders will go on the road to play the Broncos. It'll be interesting, like I said, to see Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, to see if that marriage can work. The Dolphins will go on the road, a huge game for AFC implications, just right off the bat, just like our game. They go on the road to play the Chargers. That I have my eyes fixed on that game. Eagles will go on the road to play the Patriots. The Packers on the road to go play the Bears, and then the Rams on the road to play the Seahawks. I'm interested in that Miami Chargers game, man. Like that's perfect. Like week
Huge.
1, let me see what you got. Like all eyes on you. You're in the 4 o'clock slot. It'll be perfect, to kind of see those two teams go up against each other. The Cheetah, can Tua stay healthy? He's jiu-jitsu, learning how to fall properly, all that other type of stuff. And then obviously Herbert got his bag out there in LA.
Yeah, I mean, and both teams really trying to prove themselves in that division of they're trying to be the top dog. They're overshadowed by the Kings. Let's go. With the Bills and the Chiefs and trying to prove themselves, and then this is a good way to do it. Chargers at home too.
Yeah.
So they got a couple nice home looks against the East this year, but
Herbert just got the bag. I mean, they're another team like not enough excuses. Can we get some playoff success?
High power offense. So. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be high power. They're going to be around, but are they going to be high power? I don't know. So I like the
Waddle and
Hill.
There. Waddle and Hill can run. They're fast. They're fast as lightning. So we'll see.
Derwin James back there.
Yeah.
Nothing's getting behind Derwin James. So
yeah, man, it'll be a good matchup. I'll be locked in on that one. I'll be locked in on the Raiders and Broncos. I want to see some of those AFC teams go against it. Yeah, Yep. The Pats and the Eagles will be playing again. The Eagles on the road to play the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots are a little bit bereft of some weapons, but their defense is always going to be around anytime you have Belichick. Now, as we close out the night, right before the last game, before the Bills game, close out Week 1. It'll be the Cowboys on the road against the Giants. We'll get a chance to see our old friend Brian Dable at home against the America's team, so to speak, and it'll be fun to watch that game. It's always fun to watch the Sunday night game, and then again, the Bills. We rounded out DT Monday Night Football. I mean, what are the plans, DT? What are the plans? And somebody was asking me the other day, like, man, what you gonna cook, Crip? What you doing? I think my niece is gonna be in town, so her and her daughters are gonna stop by and watch the game. I'll have my Kings and they'll hang out with their cousins. But I mean, I'm gonna cook some wings, man, and just kind of keep it simple Week 1. Not gonna do anything too crazy. Just kind of get back in the flow, DT. What you got planned for Week 1, man? Well, I know you're trying to get out of work as soon as you can. I know it.
Sure. The new developments. I'll break it here on Nickel City Crew. I'm gonna be heading down to Jersey. I'm gonna be heading down to the game, Rob.
What? Are you serious?
Nickel City Crew going to be on site. So
no way. That's what's up. Yep. That's what's up.
We're doing live. I have some really good friends down there, and been on me to come down, visit them all summer, and just hadn't been around to it. And they kind of
are you going to MetLife, or you're just going to go hang out with them?
Yep, going to MetLife. What? Yep. They kind of were like, hey, we've been wanting you to come down all summer. You've been busy. We get it, but now we got a ticket, so you got to come with us to the game. So I said,
wow, DT. Look at that breaking news on Nickel City Crew. DT will be in the building.
They knew how to hit my heartstrings. They knew how to wait for the last minute where I couldn't make another plan. So it's I'm going down. I'm driving down Saturday morning, and I'll be down in New Jersey for a few days, and then watch
the games on Sunday. Hang out in Manhattan or something like that, or in Jersey.
I was honored. They hit me with the they were taking a little party bus to the game, and they were like,
"Oh, beautiful."
We're thinking of leaving around 3, and I was like, let's bump that up to 1. So let's get the
show how the mafia does it, DT.
I love
it.
You bring me in as a professional mafia consultant. I need to. I need to give you the real talk here. So I did vet the crew. It's originally a crew out of Rochester for the most part. So it's going to be a lot of Bills fans. So I'm not going to be swimming with the Jets.
Gang Green. With Gang Green. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm going to be different that day, Rob. You know how it is when the season starts, it gets going. Like, people are going to be looking at the true Mafia members a little funny on Monday. They're going to be looking at the true Mafia members a little weird on Monday. So,
I can't wait,
that's
man.
my progress. That's what it's going to be. Never been down to MetLife. And, I mean, on 9/11, it's going to be something in there.
Oh man, it's gonna
going to
be
be special.
it's gonna be a crazy atmosphere. One of the things that I love about those primetime games, I think you already alluded to it earlier in the episode, it's just like all eyes are on you. And then one of the things I really love is that the players are also so amped up because they know that their peers are watching them. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows that you are right at the top of the list. There's nothing else going on that night. You're the primetime main event. And it's just really fun to watch those games because you do get the best of the best kind of going at it. So I love it. Everybody's jacked up for those games. Like I said, I will be at the crib. I'll figure out some wings. Like I said, my niece might come through and hang out. I've got that cool spotlight, DT, that I can finally get a chance. I get a chance week 1 that's got the Zumas on the house. Yeah, man. So I can't wait to get ready to use that and put the spotlight on and just enjoy the game, man. I'll have the Monday night theme music playing on the speaker outside. And just have it on a continuous loop before the game, and we'll just get right. We'll get ready to go, man. So have a blast, DT. That is really dope, man.
Yeah.
Have a blast out there for sure, man.
Man.
Represent Nickel City crew well, man. Because I wish I could be with you. That is going to be really sweet, really dope, man.
Yep,
for sure.
It'll be a nice little warm up for when we do see each other in the next week for the opener and get it rocking and so I'll get loose and we'll see what we can do and I
can't wait, man.
Now it's kickoff, baby.
It's close, DT. The NFL kicks off tomorrow. Again, Sunday, you got the full slate of games as we just went over. And then obviously we close the show on Monday Night Football. Now, tonight's episode is presented by 26 Shirts right here on Buffalo Fan Base Podcast Network that we simulcast on. Head on over to 26shirts.com for all the latest Buffalo-themed T-shirts. They all, again, support a great cause with each and every purchase. Speaking of 26 Shirts, one of the founders of 26 Shirts, again, the co-founder, the Don Corleone of the Mafia himself, Del Reed, will be on next week, Wednesday. Cannot wait. Already confirmed with him. So I really can't wait for that. It's really an honor for us to have him on the show. Just because, I mean, it just shows that, listen, the crew is getting out there. We're getting our name out there and we're getting a little bit of recognition. And we like that because we want to build the audience. We want to build the brand. We love working with Buffalo Fan Base. And what better way than to have one of the founders of the Bills Mafia right on the show with us. So we can't wait to chop up this Jets game with Del Reed next Wednesday, man. DT, be safe out there in Jersey, man. Show them all about how we get down. Show them how we do from back in the tailgate lots, man. Just make sure that you represent, man. I can't wait, man. You have a blast out there, man, DT. That's going to be dope, man. That's pretty dope. I can't believe you're going out there.
Yeah. Hey, and let's, Nickel City, let's buckle in. Let's have a good year. Let's grind. Let's buckle, click, clack, and let's hit some people, man. We got to do it. We got to do it. We got to feel it. It's gonna be like no other, ever. Like every year when you get pumped up, you get hype, you get ready to go. But I just got a feeling we're gonna see, a little bit of bite on the lip this year. A little bit of meanness. A little bit of all right. Fuck y'all. Let's roll.
This is a trip. This is like the chip is on the shoulder. It's firmly placed. Like I said before, there's a little bit of pressure to be sprinkled around everybody, including the coaching staffs as well. Sean McDermott put the square right on his chest. Ken Dorsey's got a square and a bullseye right on his chest as well, because of the fact that last year was kind of up and down, started out well, then it kind of petered out at the end of the season. So everybody's got something to play for. Everybody's got something to coach for. And it'll be really interesting to see because I know that I'm ready and the players better be ready too, because I'm ready to get through. I'm ready to get through. It never starts. It's got to start somewhere. It starts week 1, Bills at Jets, Monday Night Football. We really hope everybody enjoys the game. Enjoy the opener tomorrow. Enjoy Sunday's slate as well. As always, spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Hit them with a Go Bills, DT. With Nickel City will be live on location. I love it.
Next time we talk, we're 1-0.
I love it. Sound good to me.